Do you find yourself comparing your life to other people, saying if only you could be more like them, you'll be happy, successful, fulfilled, or perhaps even more liked? Or when you see people around you finding success, you ask yourself, why am I not doing all these great things like them? Hi, I'm Simon Osmo, and I help people use the power in their stories through teachings on life, balance and mindset to help them live a life of significance. And in this video, I'm going to share with you what causes us to make comparisons in our lives, why this is unfair for us to do so, and 3 ways that comparison works. So let's get into this week's video. Now, one of my best friends, a groomsman in my wedding and someone who I admire, started an internet hosting business when he was just 18 years old, and he went on to sell it by the time he was 30 for over £20 million. And I remember he came to visit me one day driving a Ferrari that was worth more than my house. Now, I think most people like me in that moment would find it hard not to compare his accomplishments with mine. In my comparison mode, I think I said something to him like, "What happened? Did you overachieve or did I underachieve?" Now, his answer was very powerful to me. He said, "Simon, look at all the things that you've accomplished in your life. You're already successful." And you know, he was right. He turned my outward comparison to an inward reflection. Now, a little bit about my background to give a statement some context. I was born into a single parent mixed race family on low income, struggled at school, but rose to go on and have a successful career in the British Police, where I was commended on 8 occasions for investigative work, and I'm now a business owner, author and speaker. What I was doing was wrong. I was comparing my life against his successes. But as he pointed out, if I compared my life against my accomplishments, I was already successful. So if you find yourself in self-comparison, make sure you're not judging at your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10, and that you're not judging their result without acknowledging the hard work that got them where they are today. So here's what I've learned. There are 3 ways that we compare ourselves to others, and I'm going to share those with you. Now, first is self-comparison, which is self-destructive. This is where you see that person at your work who's only been there 6 months and gets promoted over you. This self-comparison leads to self-destruction through your negative thoughts. They've only been here 6 months. How did that happen? Why did they choose them over me? They must not think that I'm good enough. Now, second is acceptance of difference. This is where I ended up with my friend's Ferrari. He is doing amazing things and I'm really proud of him. In acceptance, you come to a place of understanding that each of us have our own personal journey and there's no way you can ever live someone else's journey, you can only live your own. And third, admiration that leads to action. Your friend's just got a new job that's really good for them. You want that success. You need to work harder to achieve your goal. You meet your comparison with admiration that leads you to take action to become a better version of yourself, going back to school, cleaning up debt, creating a savings plan, whatever it may be for you. You know you're not where you want to be, but seeing others are has put a spark in you and you want to build your own greatness. Now, the best one of these to reach is admiration, as it's only when you focus your time and energy on your goals, your objectives, your skills, and not on anyone else's gifts or circumstances can you truly become the greatest version of yourself. So let's look at why do we compare ourselves to others. Now, one of the biggest reasons is fear. Comparison is born out of our insecurities. As people, we have an inability to internalize our strengths and accomplishments, so we measure outwardly against other people's journeys, and that comparison makes us feel inadequate, inferior if we don't match or elevate their outward successes. We have a fear of not being good enough, which means we spend hours trying to find that perfect picture for our Instagram page to project the outward image of ourselves, but most often is not a true reflection of who we really are. Now, maybe you can identify with this, but growing up, I would constantly compare my life with that of my friends. They had a nice car, my family didn't. They found school easy, I didn't. But what I've since learned is that that wasn't my journey, and the comparison for me was self-destructive. It never made me look at my skills, my abilities, my strengths, only focus on what I didn't have. And it's fear that creates that imposter syndrome, the unbelief that creeps in your heart that you're not good enough. I don't know enough about this subject to teach these kids, I'm not qualified, even though you've been a teacher for 10 years. And even me, I shouldn't be recording this video, I'm not an expert on comparison, why would people listen to me anyway, even though I've compared myself to others most of my life. As people, we have an inability to internalise our strengths and accomplishments, deep down feeling like we're a fraud, waiting to be found out, with less to offer the world than we actually do, making us to want to be like someone else. But here's the interesting thing that I found in my life. We all have someone that we admire. For me, it's my friend from the Ferrari. Perhaps for you, it's a celebrity, Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg, whoever it may be. But these people that you admire generally don't follow in the footsteps of others. We like them because of their individuality and uniqueness. So if you want to be like the person you admire, stop trying to be them. You don't know what it cost them to get there, and it's not your journey. Now, I want to be like my friend from the Ferrari because of his journey, creativity, and being honest, his riches. But the weird thing is, I admire him because he's not like anyone else. He doesn't try to be like others. So don't aspire to be the person you admire or copy what they do. Focus on your strengths, your skills, your abilities. The only greatest person you can become is the greatest version of yourself. And you'll never achieve this comparing your chapter 1 with their chapter 10. So the only way you can become free is to meet their success with admiration that leads to your own self-action. Now, I hope that this video has enriched you and resonated with you in some way, and does a small piece to tell you that you are worthy and that you are enough, and that you'll find your own greatness, whatever that may be.